Hey guys, today on the CCC, we are going to make a classic cocktail. We're going to go away from all those crazy weird ones, go back to a classic. This one's from the 1930 Harry Craddock Savoy cocktail book. This one, I think we need this one because all the light, fruity lifestyle beverages we've been doing lately are all fine and good, but I feel like lately a lot of people I talk to are just sort of, they've had it. They're finished, they're done, they're over. And this drink is aptly named the Corpse Reviver #2. So it should revive all of you who feel like a freaking COVID corpse at this point. Is that in bad taste? That may be in bad taste. I'm just saying, if you feel like you're absolutely finished, this one will wake you up.
It may be in bad taste, but it is going to taste good though.
It is going to taste good.
Like how flip that? Now there's multiple versions of Corpse Revivers, as I'm sure you know.
Yes, there is, but the #2 one, it's sort of like the Pimm's, right? Where the #1 is like brandy and the #2 is gin. The #2 is the gin one, and this is definitely the one that has gotten by far the most popular around, I think, anywhere. I mean, has anybody ever ordered a Corpse Reviver one?
No, but it would. I think it'd be worth to go to a nice bar and order one and just see what they say. Because I bet they couldn't even know what. Well, I guess a good bar would know what's in it. And actually, in a few minutes, I'll speak to one of my ingredients that sort of harkens back to it. But yeah, the original one was from the 1860s, and it has brandy, actually apple brandy, cognac, and vermouth. I think it was dry vermouth.
Really, I mean, that's a heavy and a sweet cocktail.
So now, do you know the original, like where sort of the name comes from though itself? Like there's lots of stories, but do you know like the original story?
The quote that I read is 3 of these drank in quick succession will revive a corpse.
What's funny is, based on my research, it's actually 4 in quick succession.
Oh, for real?
It is, but and then other stories are just about in general that because of the potency of the drink, you know, in theory, it could revive a corpse. That's what they're saying. But then I read the story about the 3 or 4 in a row, and
between you and me, it's going to take about 2 of these, and I'm going to be on my ass like a corpse.
And then you'll need 3 more to revive you. Now you're at 5.
I'm at 5.
I'm not quite sure why we skipped over this for so long.
Well, I'll tell you why we skipped over this one.
Tell us why.
I will tell you why. Because although it's an easy cocktail, it's got 4 equal parts ingredients, and you probably have these or some version of them laying around. The key that's easily missed is the absinthe rinse. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I want to get my rinse going and get it chilling so that I really want a nice cold martini out of this one. So I'm going to take my absinthe, spray it in here now. You never want a lot of absinthe, like ever, like literally nothing ever calls for a lot of absinthe. So I just keep it in there and I'll spray it as a rinse. Now I'll go stick it in getting cold.
And while Ricey's doing that, you'll notice I have my bottle of absinthe out here. And no, I do not plan on drinking this absinthe, but I'm actually letting mine sort of coat the glass and chill at the same time. So much like you would do a martini with vermouth, some people will do the same thing with that, just to get sort of a nice rinse. So you can do it with a spray atomizer. You can do it this way, either way. But to Ricey's point, yeah, you do not want to be drinking an ounce of absinthe in this drink.
Yeah, and absinthe is the ingredient that probably not a lot of you have. Will this drink taste good without it? Yes, it will. Will it be a Corpse Reviver #2 without it? No, it won't. And
I think a lot of absinthe really is on the nose as well, which is sort of the point here in this case. I mean, yes, it has flavor, but it's that, you know, it's that sort of licoricey anise scent that you're going to smell, especially if you coat the glass the way we've done it.
Yeah. The other problem with absinthe, well, absinthe has got a whole interesting history in itself. It was called the Green Fairy. It was banned for a long time because it's severely alcoholic. It's a little pricey. It's a pricey bottle, but having said that, I have that same bottle you have, Jason, and I have never replaced it. I've had it for a lot of years. I've had it a good 6, 7 years.
Well, it's possibly bought this at the same time.
Yeah,
and that's what I have left in mind. So there are a few drinks certainly that call for absinthe, but if you're going to have a well-stocked bar, it's a nice thing to have in there, but it's certainly more of a luxury than a necessity.
Yeah, so that you can't make without the absinthe. My point is though you may shell out a reasonable amount of money to get absinthe, you will never replace it.
Fair point.
Never. If you ever want to do that cool absinthe dripping with the absinthe over the sugar cube and the spoon, that's super fun.
It is cool. It's very fun, but hard to find. You don't see too many bars or restaurants to do it. In New Orleans, you'll see it. Louisiana in general, there's some bars that I've been to that do it. So
I don't know if it's still open, but that French place in Uptown Park, Les Toiles, we've done it there. There's a whole absinthe bar in Nashville that we went to once. Anyway, it's a fun thing to do just for fun one day, but it's not inexpensive.
Would you say it's funsicles? Is it too sophisticated for it to be funsicles?
I think so.
So you got me to say it. I actually said it twice.
I'm remembering back to the night that I went to the absinthe bar in Nashville, and I'm remembering Brian after we left that bar, and he wasn't very funsicle.
Should we make Corpse Reviver number 2?
Let's revive the corpse. We are going to shake it because there's citrus.
Again, the best thing about this drink, well, there's many good things about this drink. One of the best things about it is when you're not looking to get super creative and have to measure everything perfectly, this is equal parts. So you really can't mess it up.
But this is a classic that's in every book that I've got back here.
Yeah.
Starting with dry gin. You've got Ford's, I've got Tanqueray. One of my books said Plymouth, just a dry gin, any dry gin, 3/4. So the 2 books that I looked at a PDT book and the Death & Co book, 2 very respectable books. Both of them specified Cointreau. So I'm going with 3/4 Cointreau.
So I have Paulos. I think I actually have Cointreau somewhere around here as well. I actually went with dry curacao. One of these I think you all know. It's one of my favorite of the various triple sec or orange liqueurs, but it also has cognac and brandy in it. So it's sort of like a little twist on mixing number 1 and number 2. So you get the cognac and the brandy, yet still the essence of it is an orange liqueur.
Also, I tend to just really like that. I do like the dry curacao.
Well, and it's truly a much drier, like in fact, we just made a drink recently that called for just an orange liqueur made with Paulos, which is perfectly fine and simple. It's better than your regular, well, triple sec. But then I tried the same cocktail with this and it was significantly drier and more understated, which I tend to like things less sweet. So
3/4 Lillet Blanc. So I think every book calls for the Lillet Blanc. If you don't have a Lillet Blanc on hand.
We've talked about this before. This is a tough one. I mean, it's a fortified wine. It's an aperitif wine. I guess if you have, the closest thing I would think of, and this isn't great, is maybe a Blanc vermouth.
Blanc.
Just say like a Dolan, the blue label.
The blue Dolan, or I think Carpano makes a Bianco.
So it's a clear vermouth, not a red vermouth, but it's also sweeter than it is dry.
Right.
So ideally, you get Lillet, and I will say Lillet is not inexpensive for a vermouth aperitif wine. It's around $24, $25.
Really?
Yeah.
That is more like an 18.
But regardless, unlike $20 bottles of Amaro that can last for years, once you open this guy, you do need to chill it. It actually has a spot on the back of the label, when you opened it. So it's good for 4 weeks, 6 weeks-ish. So it's not going to last. So I would say hold off and buying it until you're ready to make a number of these drinks or other drinks with it. There's lots of uses for Lillet, but it's not going to last forever.
I think actually Lillet is more commonly consumed alone by itself. And then 3/4 lemon. I chilled cocktail glass out. See, look how cold it is. I want to fine strain it, but I'm going to use this fancy Kilpatrick strainer that I found that's got a fine strainer in it.
Very cool.
I'll show you how it's done, Jason.
You got to show me because mine didn't work. But I did fine strain mine before I poured it into the jigger, so mine's already ready to go.
You got fine strains. Fancy, risey.
Always, right? So I will say, I can already smell this drink.
Yes.
So if you don't like licorice or like star anise, you're not going to like this drink because you're going to pick up the scent before you even taste it. So I can already smell it right now. I think it smells great.
It also depends on how much you rinsed it with.
True, but still.
There, some people will pour in 2 drops, give it a swirl, dump it out, and call it.
I still think if you don't like absinthe or don't like that scent, this is probably not a great drink for you. I'm not going to say it overpowers the drink, but it's the first impression on this drink.
You get it more on the nose than on the taste, certainly, but I would say alter accordingly. I know some people who are watching this are going to say, "Oh, well, I don't like licorice, so I'm not going to drink it." But try it.
No, you definitely should try it, but just be warned, you're going to note that on the nose first. So you guys have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Cheers, Rice.
Cheers, Jason.